Hi, Dan Goodstein with the Outsourcing Institute here. I'm here with Mike Small from CapGemini. Hey, Mike, good to see you.
Great to be here, Dan.
Before, we talked a little bit about the digital supply chain. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure thing. The key asset that we bring together around digital supply chain is actually our digital control tower. And what that is a group of assets that we've developed that really helps organization breaks down silos so they have that visibility. So a 360-degree insight is actually the heart and cornerstone of digital supply chain, providing that end-to-end analytics, getting the predictability associated with the actual data, coming back with recommendations actually in real time, and again, that end-to-end visibility, which is key. So that's the digital control tower, which is really at the heart of our digital supply chain.
It seems to me that volatility would be a key driver there. Do you agree as we get into a more and more volatile business world? And what are some of the other benefits if you're a client?
Well, I'll take two industries in particular that we see a tremendous amount of volatility in, where we've actually deployed digital supply chain across multiple enterprises. First would be manufacturing. So within manufacturing, when we look at digital supply chain and the various elements of both the production as well as the actual end-to-end capabilities based on changing demand from their clients, changing prices in terms of raw materials. These are the types of aspects that all are factored into a end-to-end view of supply chain holistically. In CPG, buying patterns of the clients are changing. How you actually are able to measure and monitor that and provide interoperability in terms of both product as well as raw material in terms of the distribution side of CPG. Those are all monitored, managed, and end-to-end holistically aggregated so we can look at providing insights back to our client. And those are two industries that are in tremendous amount of fluctuation, as well as demand-driven based on seasonality comes into play, as well as other factors. So those are two industries that absolutely speak to those challenges.
So Mike, it's tough for me to have a conversation with either a client or even a provider these days without automation being part of the conversation. So is CapGemini implementing automation in their offerings for their clients today?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a comprehensive program around robotics and process automation across CapGemini. Specifically within BPO, we sort of tend to look at RPA as a natural extension of our global enterprise model, where technology is a key enabler. We focus on innovation at the core. The second aspect would be industrialization. We have over 140 practitioners that are focused on RPA implementations within our existing and our future clients. So that's a key aspect of indoctrinating RPA in our thinking and how we actually take our capabilities to market. The third is visibility, is providing clients visibility and transparency, because an aspect of RPA is disruptive. So how do you actually look at gain sharing the benefits, piloting actual projects, and then actually implementing it where the benefits are both gain shared between supplier as well as client? And then the fourth is, don't lose sight of security as part of this conversation. Once you actually deploy robotics, you have to have an element of security and controls as part of your overall global enterprise or global process model. So when we look at RPA, we have over efficiencies of 2014 of 600 FTE of additional efficiencies. In 2014, have line of sight to over 850. And again, with visibility with our clients, we're working with them in collaborative formats to actually take some of those efficiencies and reinvest it back into their business. And we've seen some really good, strong indicators that a tremendous amount of the RPA value is actually what you can do with those reinvestment of funds into your business. We're seeing a tremendous amount of uptick on digital supply chain as a result.
Right. So, and speaking of clients, more and more they kind of get the automation thing, or they want to get the automation thing, but they're asking me for the case studies, for the use cases, right? So is there a client example of a successful implementation that you can talk about?
Yeah, a great example is a global CPG company where we actually were able to, as I mentioned previously, deploy RPA within the environment. We actually were able to free up 80, 90 FTE in terms of efficiencies as realized as part of that implementation. And we took those savings and actually reinvested it into their supply chain. We hosted them for a consulting initiative around 40 of their worldwide procurement category managers into an accelerated solution environment, and we drove a strategy from that actually consisted of 3 or 4 self-funded projects that came out of the RPA implementation. So a great example of finding efficiencies in one area of a contract with a client and reinvesting it so that they could jointly get the benefits in another area of their business.
Right, right. Okay. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.